Noah gasped as his eyes snapped open to absolute darkness. The air was thick, damp, carrying a scent of decayed wood and something else, something metallic, almost like blood. His pulse quickened as he reached out, fingertips grazing rough, splintered walls on either side. The space was cramped, barely enough for him to extend his arms. Panic clawed at his throat. He scrambled to his feet, heart pounding against his ribs. Where was he? How did he get here? His mind felt like a broken mirror, shards of memory missing. The last thing he could recall was nothing. His past dissolved into an empty void, a sensation more terrifying than the darkness surrounding him. He pressed his hands against the walls, searching, feeling for anything. A door, a latch, an opening. Nothing, only unyielding wood. He called out, his voice swallowed by the silence. No answer. He clenched his fists, frustration bubbling beneath his skin. He was trapped. Then something shifted. A whisper of movement, a breeze that shouldn't exist in an enclosed space. He followed it, pressing his ear against the wall in front of him. A faint hum resonated beyond the wooden barrier. Was something on the other side? Determination surged within him. He stepped back, bracing himself. With all his strength, he rammed his shoulder against the wall. The wood groaned but held firm. Again, harder this time. A crack splintered through the silence. He ignored the pain in his shoulder and struck again. This time, the wood gave way, bursting outward in a spray of splinters and dust. Noah stumbled forward, falling onto cold, damp earth. He coughed, pushing himself up on shaky arms. His head throbbed, his body sore from the impact. When he looked up, his breath hitched. He had been inside a small wooden cabin, now barely standing with one of its walls shattered open. The structure was crude, ancient with no windows and only rotting beams for support. It was as if it had been built to imprison, not to shelter. Beyond the cabin, an eerie darkness stretched in every direction. Trees loomed like silent sentinels, their twisted branches reaching toward the sky like skeletal fingers. A thick fog curled around the trunks, shifting unnaturally as if alive. Noah turned, looking for signs of civilization, lights, voices, anything. Nothing. Only the forest and a single path, a narrow trail carved into the damp soil, leading deeper into the trees. It was the only way forward. A shiver ran down his spine. Something about this place was wrong. The silence wasn't just quiet, it was oppressive, unnatural. No rustling leaves, no chirping insects, not even the distant hoot of an owl. He swallowed hard. Standing here wouldn't help. If there was a way out, it was ahead. With a deep breath, he took his first step down the path. As he moved through the dense forest, shadows danced between the trees, flickering as if unseen figures lurked just beyond his vision. The deeper he walked, the heavier the air became, pressing against his chest like an unseen weight. The fog thickened, swirling around him. And then the whispers began. They were soft at first, like distant echoes carried on the wind. Murmurs just beyond recognition, slipping through his grasp the moment he tried to listen. He turned sharply, scanning the trees. No one was there. Then a voice cut through the silence, a single word spoken in a whisper directly behind him. Noah. He spun around, his breath hitching. Nothing. But the moment he faced forward again, something changed. The trees had shifted. The path behind him was gone. His pulse hammered in his ears. The forest was playing tricks on him, or something else was at work. Was he dreaming? Hallucinating? Or had he truly stepped into some place beyond comprehension? A light flickered ahead, warm, golden, like a lantern in the distance. He hesitated only for a moment before quickening his pace, the whispers growing fainter with each step. The path widened, opening into a small clearing. In the center stood an old man, draped in a tattered cloak, holding a lantern that burned with an unsettling golden glow. His face was obscured beneath the hood, but his presence radiated an undeniable authority. Noah stopped, unsure whether to speak or wait. The man tilted his head, studying him. "You are at the crossroads," the old man said, his voice deep and calm. "Two paths lie before you. One leads to awakening, the other elsewhere." Noah's throat went dry. "What does that mean? Where am I?" "Somewhere in between," the man replied. "You have unfinished business, questions unanswered. You must decide. Do you seek the road home or the road beyond?" Noah felt the weight of the words pressing on him. He still didn't remember how he had come here, but something deep inside told him this was no ordinary place. He looked past the old man. Two paths stretched beyond the clearing, one bathed in pale, ethereal light, the other vanishing into shadow. His heart pounded. Which one was the right choice? And what would happen if he chose wrong? The old man lifted the lantern, its glow illuminating Noah's uncertain face. "Decide. Time does not wait." Noah took a deep breath and stepped forward. Noah hesitated at the crossroads, his breath shallow. The old man remained still, watching him. Something deep inside urged him toward the path, bathed in pale light. A sense of longing, as though he had been here before. He took a step forward, then another. As he walked, the darkness behind him fell away, dissolving into mist. The trees bent and twisted, their forms unraveling like threads in a tapestry. The light intensified, surrounding him, embracing him. Then pain, a crushing pressure, a suffocating pull. Noah gasped, his lungs burning as he sucked in air. White lights blinded him. Beeping filled his ears, distant voices murmuring. His fingers twitched against soft sheets. He was in a hospital. His vision adjusted, revealing a ceiling of sterile white panels. Machines hummed beside him, their screens displaying erratic lines. A nurse stood at his bedside, eyes widening as she noticed him stirring. "He's awake," she called out. Memories flooded back in a crashing wave. An accident, pain, darkness. The forest, the old man, the choice. Tears pricked at his eyes. He had been somewhere else, somewhere real. And yet, here he was. "Noah," a familiar voice whispered. He turned. His mother stood at the door, tears streaming down her face. He was home, but the whispers still lingered in his mind, a reminder of the world beyond.